kids. I'm having company tomorrow night, and I'm thinking about homemade pizza. So I'm going to make some pizza crust today and let it sit in the refrigerator overnight, and then tomorrow we'll have homemade pizza, and it won't be that much trouble. Okay, so I've got to turn this water on and get it warm, because the first thing that we're going to do is mix a packet of yeast with a 1/4 cup of warm water, like 115 degrees-ish. Not over 140, supposedly that's where it starts to kill the yeast. But recipe says about 115 degrees. I usually do it where it's good and hot to my finger. I'll just say really warm to my fingers, let's put it that way. And like I have a teaspoon of sugar, that's just to activate the yeast. That's not like it's gonna make the pizza sweet or anything. And I'm gonna set it in this bowl, mix it up, and then it has to set aside for 10 minutes or so in a warm place until it gets foamy, which means the yeast is activated, okay? See, now that water's getting warm. Some people might use a thermometer. I just use my finger. Okay. Yep, it's hot. Let me get the right measure. Okay, 1/4 cup of water. It says half a teaspoon of sugar, so that's just a very negligible amount. Just a little bit of sugar in there to help activate the yeast, that's all. And then the packet of yeast. I'm using, active dry yeast, Red Star is what I'm using. Ooh, I can smell it. I love yeasty bread. You're supposed to stir it and dissolve. Now see, it's just in here. Well, darn it. There. I gotta stir up and stir that yeast in. And if it doesn't dissolve right away, come back to it in a couple minutes, and it will have softened up enough too. Not a couple minutes, but I mean just give it a few. Now I'm going to set it over here on the stove, because the stove's warm. And it's got to sit for about 10 minutes till it gets foamy. I'll be back. All right, y'all. It's been probably 15 minutes. And it's foaming up. See, the yeast is all dissolved in there. It smells real strong. It's foamed up. So now we got to get this other stuff started. What we're going to use it in. Okay. 3 cups of flour. We're going to put it in this bowl. One, two, three. 3 cups of flour. Whisk is dirty. Just a second. I had to wash my dough hook real quick. Had to get it out of the dishwasher. I used it this morning. Whoop. Let me lift this up just a little. Okay, we put the 3 cups of flour in here. We need, it says how much salt? A teaspoon of salt. I just feel the palm of my hand. That's what I do. See? About a teaspoon. Need a tablespoon of honey. Y'all, this is an old recipe. I used it all the time when the kids were little. They probably don't even remember. I just stirred that salt in with my dough hook. Okay, now I'm going to put this honey in. 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I have good olive oil here from T.O. Lee. Here in Norman, I love them. 1, 2. And our yeast mixture. Oh, don't spill it, Tammy. That's not cool. Yeah, that's nice and foamy. Let me show you, just so you know what you're looking for if you haven't seen it before. It's nice and foamy. Okay, just dumping it in there. And then we're going to stir in half a cup of water to make it come together. Okay? Into a dough. Supposed to put it in a steady stream. Supposed to do it in a food processor. I don't ever use food processor. It says in a steady stream into the food processor. You can put all this in there and then just add your water. And it says if it's too wet, add some more flour. So that was a steady stream, wasn't it? It's not too wet, that's for sure, to me. Because we're fixing to turn this out onto a floured board. And we're going to knead it for, it says 7 minutes. I won't torture you through all that. Let me get this out of the way. So here we go. We're going to flour this countertop again. Have y'all kneaded things? Do you know how to knead things? Fixing to find out. No. To me, this is kind of a dry dough, not a wet dough. Okay. Well, part of it's wet. Okay, you just have to pull it. You have to get it together. And when you knead something, you go away and fold it. Away and fold it. Fold it. Push away. Turn. Fold. Push away. Turn. Fold. Push away. Turn. Fold. This is what you're doing until it's nice and smooth. And they say 7 minutes. Okay? So I'm going to turn this off. And when I make homemade bread, I usually have my playlist going, and it's like 3 songs, and then my dough is done. But I'll be back in a minute. All right, y'all, we're back. I kneaded and kneaded and kneaded and kneaded some more. And now you can see what a smooth disc of dough I have here, right? So, one way to tell when it's done, I tore off a piece about the size of a marble, rolled it up, okay? And if you can pull it and get it to where it's so thin it doesn't just tear. Like you can actually see through it. It's called the window pane test. You can see through it and it doesn't actually tear. Now, of course, if you keep pulling on it, it's going to. But I mean, you can get it thin enough to where you can see through it. I can see through the window light, okay? It's done. But I did it earlier. I did do it earlier, and it was a little too early, and when I pulled on it, it just immediately tore. But if you get it to where it's stretchy, because that's what you want, the gluten has to develop to where it can stretch, okay? So, now we have this pretty disc of pizza dough here. Now what we got to do is oil. We're going to put some olive oil in this bowl and bring it up the sides. And we're going to put the pizza dough in here and turn it to get the oil on both sides. See, I just did a coating, just a coating of olive oil in there. You can't really even see it, but I mean it is. There, see all the olive oil on my paper towel? There's olive oil in there. And I'm gonna put my dough in here, and I just kind of do it like that, and then I turn it over. And do you see how shiny it is with the olive oil? Because it has olive oil in it, on it. Okay. So now all we do is I'm going to cover it with a tea towel, and I'm going to set it over here next to the stove for a good 30 minutes. The recipe says 30 minutes. We'll see if that gets it to double. Okay? And I'm setting it over here on the stove just like this. My burner is on low. Not this one that the towel's sitting on, but this one. It's just on real low. And I'm gonna set it here under this light until it doubles. And I'll be back to let you see it when it does. All right, y'all. It's time to see if this dough's done rising. And I think it is. It's been probably 30, 35 minutes. Different recipes call for a different amount of times, okay? I'm gonna put my fingers in. And if the holes stay, yep. If they don't just close back up, should be done, okay? Now, oh, just a second. We're gonna lightly grease this plate. Let me get a paper towel. Oil, oil, oil. First we have to divide it into 4. It says 4 balls. I couldn't remember. Okay, so this is enough to make 4 pizzas. 1. I'm wondering. I think I'm gonna do 3. I may regret it. I may be making the wrong decision, but I've got a big pizza pans, so I'm gonna do 3. Okay, y'all. I'll let you know if that was a wrong decision. Now, all we have to do is lightly oil this. Plate here. Put them on it, turn it, cover it with saran wrap, and I'm going to keep it in the fridge until tomorrow when I want to make pizza for my friends that are coming. Wonder if I should do this in 4. Should I do what it says? Oh, alright. I'll do what the recipe says. Okay? No, I won't. It's 3 balls. That's what I'm making. I'm making 3 balls. It says 4. No, I'm making 3. Okay? just lightly oils, and then you just cover it with saran wrap and stick it in the fridge. And you can, if you're wanting to use it today, it says you can leave it for 2 hours and then use it. Or you can do it ahead like I am, and you can use it tomorrow and just keep it in the fridge. That one's probably going to be kind of big, but it's, oh, if it is, I'll just have thicker crust on that one, that's all. But I'd rather have enough crust to stretch out on my plate than to end up with not enough. Now see here, we've got these bowls of dough. Also, actually that big one there, I'm only gonna make 2 pizzas tomorrow. I'm only making 2 pizzas. So what I'm gonna do with this third one is I'm gonna wrap it in saran wrap and freeze it. Then whenever I want a homemade pizza, I just pull it out, let it come to room temperature. Okay, you know what? No. I'm gonna wait till tomorrow to put it in the freezer. Maybe it's supposed to rise. Let me see if it says at what point you freeze it. I used to freeze them all the time, but it's been a little bit since I did this. Oh, I think I'll go, it doesn't say on there, but I think what I did was I just went ahead at this point and froze it, and then when I take it out, I would let it sit long enough in the fridge to do another rise, okay? Now, if you have smaller pizza pans, I mean, it says 4 pizzas. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure I'm overkill, as I am on everything. But, this is what I'm doing. 3 instead of 4. But I used to do 4. We'll see tomorrow, whenever I use them. Then you can learn from that. Well, dang, she should have did like the recipe said. But, alright, this is how it's going to go. 1 for the freezer for later. These 2 for the fridge for the 2 pizzas tomorrow that I'm making. Alright, we'll see y'all later, and I'll show you when it's all done. Bye. Y'all, I'm sitting here reading about the pizza dough because I wanted to be sure I told y'all the right thing. It said, I Googled it, and it says you can freeze it after the first rise. Just shape it into the, you know, shape it into your ball for a single pizza. Put it in the freezer, and then when you want to use it, just let it thaw in the freezer overnight. So I actually did that right, and I was just wanting to let you know because I thought, I better make sure that I'm telling them the right thing. All right. Hey kids, I love you. Okay, it's Friday now. I made my pizza crust last night and put it in the fridge with saran wrap over it. Y'all saw that. So I got it out about an hour ago, and I punched them down like that so that they would, well, just because you're supposed to, because they rose again. And I went ahead and worked one out. Now, y'all remember that I said that I have big pizza pans? I have big pizza pans, and it called to make 4 bowls out of that. I only made 3, and I still could just not quite fill this pizza pan up, but that's okay. It's okay, I did what I could do. But I'm gonna put this in the oven and let it par bake a little bit, because I partially bake them just a little before I put sauce and stuff on. I made homemade pizza sauce today too, but anyway. I'm going to put this one in the oven, and we'll see what it looks like after it's partially baked. And you can see me get this one out here on the pizza, here on the pizza pan, on the pizza stone actually. And let me get that. Okay, and the recipe says, I couldn't do it on the other pan. I put a little olive oil on the other pan, but the recipe says to sprinkle cornmeal, and I remember doing this all the time whenever I made it before. So I'm going to sprinkle a little cornmeal on my pizza stone What that means, I'm not sure. But do it. Do it. I'm gonna do it. And so I punched this down, this little ball down, and I'm starting to do it like this. And I'm just gonna, I don't know how to make a pizza, y'all. I'm not Italian, didn't go to pizza school. So I'm just kind of stretching it out a little, then I'm gonna lay it down here and make a shape as best I can, okay? And it doesn't have to be perfect. These homemade pizzas are not, they're not perfect like what you get in the store or restaurant or whatever. I'm having a couple of friends over and we're gonna have this. 2 pizzas, pepperoni, cheese, and cheese pizza. I don't even have all the stuff. I wanted to make margarita pizza, but I used my fresh tomatoes in the tomato sauce for the pizza, and I'm out of fresh tomatoes. But anyways, I'm going to just have plain cheese pizza and a pepperoni pizza and cheese tortellini. It has marinara sauce on it, mozzarella on the top. It's in the oven heating up, and Patty's bringing dessert. So, and yes, I know I should have a salad. Ain't got no salad. We're just doing what we're doing tonight. These are good friends. They don't care. Pee-wee and Patty, they'll eat what I shove out there, because that's good friends they are. Okay, so I about got me a circle here. Now, if you want a thick crust, I would definitely only divide that into 2 balls. I don't know what kind of size pan they're using. I have no idea. But I'm like, seriously? Who eats that small of pizza? But probably everyone but me, actually, so there's that. And I'm just folding this over for the edge crust, okay? I'm working it back. But you know, we talked about yesterday, you have to develop the gluten so it can stretch. You're gonna be in heck of a mess if you can't stretch your crust at all to get it on your pizza pan. Now this is not gonna be perfect. That's a pretty good circle though. I wished I had a pizza oven like my son-in-law, daughter. I'm sure some of y'all do. And here is the pizza crust, okay? It's a thin pizza crust. I hope it'll be crispy. It's been a lot of years since I did this. We're all gonna find out together. And if I made any mistakes, I'll tell you what they are, so hopefully you won't make them. But hopefully it'll just be some good pizza. I will come back when I pull that partially baked one out, okay? And then, well, I'll tell you then. Bye. Okay, y'all, this just came out of the oven. I just cooked it, what, about 10 minutes or something on like 400. See, it got a little bit brown there. Oh, I just cracked it. Dum dum. Anyways, I like it to get just a little bit cooked to where when I put the sauce on it and stuff, it's not in the doughiness. Okay, so now I'm gonna dress it with the sauce. I'm gonna put pepperoni on it and cheese. And then I'll show y'all when the pizzas are all done. Okay, and that's all there is to it the second day. There's not much to it the second day. It's just getting the crust made. All right, bye. Y'all look here. I hope Pee-wee and Patty likes crispy pizza. I almost burned the darn pizza, but not. It's just brown and crispy. It'll be good. I'll show you the next. Hey y'all, this is the one that partially baked. I'm fixing to put it back into the oven I did brush this, and I brushed the other one before I put it in. I'll show it to you in just a second. I brushed it with some olive oil with garlic in it, olive oil and garlic and kosher salt, that type of thing. I brushed the crust with it to make it, you know, get toasty and good like that. And then I put my homemade pizza sauce on here, and then I covered it with pepperoni, which I pre-baked for just a little bit, and then I dabbed all the grease off of it so that it wouldn't be floating in grease. I don't like that. And then I covered it in mozzarella. I'm gonna pop this one in the oven. And I'm just gonna show you this one that just came out from par baking on the pizza stone. And the pizza stone, I think, is always superior. So now all I have to do is doctor it up and pop it in. I'll show you them when they're completely baked. Bye. Okay, y'all, pizza and cheese tortellini night is fixing to go down. Here's the second one. I can tell you it looks good. And I think it's gonna taste good. I put some pepperonis on one side because that's the side the pepperoni is under the cheese. Okay, so there it is. Homemade pizza crust, homemade pizza sauce. Throw it all together, you got a pizza pie. Y'all have a great weekend. Love you.
Delicious.